Hey y'all, it's Chris here with Rockin Farm. Today I'm going to be answering a question that I see posted a lot in my pig forums, but it really relates to the entire farm. So I may end up posting this under my Idaho pasture pig playlist, but this isn't necessarily pig specific. It's really kind of farm specific. And the question that I'm seeing all the time, again, specifically pig related, is how many times per day do you feed your Idaho pasture pigs? Do you feed them once a day or do you feed them twice a day? And a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this, and none of them are necessarily right or wrong, but we feed twice a day, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, when I say that we feed twice a day, I'm not talking about the chickens. The chickens do get fed one time per day. The pigs get fed twice a day, dogs get fed twice a day, cats get fed twice a day, etc. And the reason, there's a lot of different reasons, and I'll get into some of them, but the main reason that I feed twice a day is because I know me, and I know my tendency to get lazy, and I know my tendency to get busy. So for me personally, if I feed in the morning and if I feed in the evening, that is a guarantee that I am checking on my pigs and my dogs, etc., at least 2 times a day. Now, in this post-pandemic world that we live in, I'm actually lucky enough that I work from home 3 days a week and I work in the office 2 days a week. So during the days that I work from home, I actually check on the animals a minimum of 3 times a day. And then on the days that I work in the office, it's a minimum of 2 times a day. And on weekends, it's generally a minimum of 3 times a day. I check on my animals a lot more than that because I like being around my animals, but I like having the guarantees in place where I'm kind of guaranteed to check on them at least twice, and on most days 3 times. So I have to give myself a reason to go out and do that. I know not everybody is like me. Maybe some people are a lot more motivated than I am, but I've told y'all before when it comes to this channel, I'm gonna be transparent with you. I get too busy, I get too lazy, and I get too into whatever I'm doing, and I can actually get to a place where I forget about my animals. So what are some of the reasons that I feed my animals a couple of different times a day? Well, I mean, in all honesty, I just kind of relate my animals to me a little bit. If I had to eat all of my food in one sitting at breakfast and then have like leafy snacks the rest of the day, I think I would get too full all at once. You know, I mean, I realize they're animals and they're not people, but I just like splitting their meals. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I feed them twice a day is like, for example, if I've got a pig that's getting 4 pounds of grain fed per pig per day, and then they're eating grass throughout the day, well, then I'll give them the 2 pounds in the morning, I'll let them graze during the day, and then I'll give them 2 pounds in the evening, and they're not getting so much food all at once. During the summer months, I like feeding twice a day because when you're digesting and processing grain, it's going to increase internal body heat, and since it's already hot out, I want them to digest that food relatively quickly, get it through their system, lower their body temperature, and therefore they don't overheat. So not only do I feed during cool times of the day during the summer, but I like feeding twice a day because of that reason. You know, get the food processed, get the internal body temperature down, and let's not overheat. Now, I've heard some arguments when it comes to the pigs specifically about just the opposite. If they just feed in the evening, they see that their pigs tend to do a better job of grazing during the day. So obviously that would be a really, really good reason to feed your pig 1 time in the evening. So that's why I'm saying nothing's right and nothing's wrong. If you want to feed your pigs 1 time a day, that's absolutely fine because I think there's going to be benefits to that as well. My whole thing is if I only feed the pigs in the evening, I know me, there's a good chance that they're just going to get checked on 1 time in the evening. I've got their dinner in their buckets now. I'll come back and pour the water on it in a minute. And if you're wondering why I'm pouring water on it, well, I'm going to go ahead and post in the upper right-hand corner here a video that I did a while back about why I soak my animals' feed. So obviously that points out the fact that the 1 time a day that I come out and check on my animals is when I feed them breakfast in the morning. That is something that's going to happen every day, whether I work from home or not. So what motivates me to come out and check on them for the 2nd time during the day, on weekends, or when I am working from home? Well, midday, whether it's my lunch break from work or just midday on a weekend, I come back out and I collect all the feed pans to get ready for that dinner meal. Big piggies. Hi, guys. Why do you always put your food bowls in the mud, huh? Hi, guys. Hello. Everybody gonna come say hi? Everybody gonna come say hi? Hi. Hi, Ollie. Hi. Hello. Hello. Where's Amigo at? Huh? Where's Amigo at? Hi, Dot. Hi, Dot. When I'm out here, you know, they all came up to say hi to me, all except for Amigo. So that's, you know, one of the things that I'll do is before I walk away from here, I want to make sure I get eyes on Amigo. You saw me petting them all right now. You see them all sitting back here wondering if I'm going to give them a snack. I've got some fig bushes not too far from here, and they love figs, so they might get a little figgy snack. But I got hands on them. I got to watch them walk over, so I could see if anybody was limping. I could see if anybody was favoring a foot. And it's all just really, really quick stuff. It's not like I'm out here for hours. I mean, you know, you got to figure if I'm working from home that day, this is something that takes place in a total of about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, I told you this wasn't just going to be a pig video, and it's not just going to be a pig video because I have my chicken feed pans out here too. And although the chickens do not get an evening meal, this still gives me that second opportunity to kind of check on the birds and make sure that they're all doing okay. So when I go and I collect these feed pans from my chickens, what I'm looking for definitely is, did they eat all their food? Chickens will tend to spend about 15 to 20 minutes eating. They'll get themselves nice and full, and then they'll spend the rest of the day eating grass, eating bugs, scratching for grubs, etc. And if they haven't finished all their food yet, then I know one of two things. I'm either giving them a little bit too much food, so I can probably back off on these guys because they are still young, small birds. Didn't quite finish all their breakfast, so I'm probably gonna back off on the amount of food that I'm giving them, because at this point in the day, I want them eating green grass. I want them scratching for bugs and getting their protein that way. So tomorrow, I'll just give them a little bit less food. But as you can see, when we come over here to my wife's Diamond Jubilee Orpingtons, we got a nice empty feed pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and collect this now so that I don't have to come collect it later. So I come out here, I collect all the feed pans, makes my life a little bit easier tonight. But what's my third time? What's my third time I'm gonna check on the animals? Well, it's gonna be dinner time. So for the pigs, I'll come out, I'll feed dinner. We get dinner fed to them. We get all the feed bowls collected up again, the pig feed bowls collected up again, get them back there so they're ready for me for the morning. But the chickens only get fed in the morning, and if I collected all the feed pans at noon, why would I come back out here in the evening? Well, I've got a lot of my birds in chicken tractors. I've got several breeding pens that are in a stationary coop and a stationary pen, but then I've also got several chicken tractors. So it's just kind of a habitual thing now. Time number 3 is come out in the evening, feed all the pigs, move all the chicken tractors, and then as long as I'm moving the chicken tractors, just go ahead and check on the birds that are in the stationary pens. So listen, y'all, it's not like I'm some super guru when it comes to animals. I've lost a lot of animals for a lot of dumb reasons, and more often than not, the dumb reasons that I have lost animals is because I was unaware that things were going on with the animals. I've had a pig get pretty sick before. We were able to save the pig, but they would have had a much faster recovery if I hadn't been lackadaisical and lazy and I had been out there more times on that particular day. We lost a ton of chickens to heat stress one year, and it was because it was hot and I didn't want to go outside. So by adding this minimum of 2 times a day if we're not home, minimum of 3 times a day if we are home, welfare checks / feedings for the animals, we've had a lot less loss, we've had a lot less illness, and we've had a lot faster recovery for our animals when they do get ill. Is that to say that everyone needs to feed their animals twice, or that everyone needs to check on their animals multiple times a day? No. This is what's working for us here at Rockin Farm. We may add additional welfare checks if it's extremely hot, or maybe if it's extremely cold and water bowls are freezing, things of that nature. But generally speaking, our rule of thumb for us here on our farm is 3 times a day minimum the animals get checked on if we are home. 2 times per day minimum the animals get checked on if we're not home. And like I said, because of that, we recognize injury faster, we recognize illness faster, and we have less loss due to things like heat stress. As I've said before, I'm nothing if not honest. I hope this video was helpful, gave you a little bit of an explanation as to why we do it the way we do it. Maybe you can make that work for you as well. So I hope you found this helpful. This has been Chris with Rockin Farm. Until I see you all again, be happy, live healthy.